Students of John Messino's clever use of smoke and mirrors in his pre-match press conferences believe they may have spotted something. The Pompey boss answered a question he wasn't really asked, namely, is it possible that Kusini Yengi will start against Leeds, by saying out loud that he didn't think the Australian would start, even though he and Bishop looked threatening together for the 27 minutes that Pompey played two up front in an effort to peg back Luton. Fans are growing used to Messino's subtle ways of getting into the heads of opposing tacticians, statisticians, and backroom boys and girls. Whilst he loves nothing more than picking a winning team and being head coach of a side playing good football, he has a soft spot for teasing the opposition and springing surprises. When John says he is unlikely to play Kusini Yengi from the start, it not only gets the fans scratching their heads, but the Leeds United coaching staff. If the visitors are going to find themselves up against two centre-forwards, their defence is going to have to be prepared, which may call for training exercises and strategy discussions. Only to discover on Sunday morning at 11:30 a.m. that they wasted their time. Or they may decide to call his double bluff and assume that he was bluffing and give no consideration whatsoever to playing what could be quite a handful of forwards up front.
Pompey's goalkeeping roster is in the news. John Messino has been telling the press how happy he is with his four keepers, including how well new signing Ben Killip has adapted to his move from Barnsley. Messino says this: Ben has settled down really well and provided a huge amount of competition in there. His situation is very similar to Kyle Gordon. His time at the football club has coincided with the team's really good performances, good form for Nico as well. I feel very assured to have a really strong goalkeeping department, and I feel very assured to have three players I can call upon. Make that four with Toby Stewart in the building as well. That was the whole point in bringing Ben in. We've got that security. We never know what's around the corner, but hope that, between now and the end of the season, we don't have any hiccups. If we do, we're really strong. Ben understands fully what was expected of him coming in, and he understands the opportunity as well, the opportunity for him to come and play in the championship, to come and train every day and be part of a championship club. So there is no issue with Ben. Those towards the top end of Sunday's opponents, Leeds United, are doing everything in their power to ensure that the players are by no means complacent when they kick off at Fratton Park at 12:30 p.m. Head coach Daniel Farke has been telling anyone and everyone who will listen that the game is not a done deal, and that Pompey, despite being many places below Leeds United in the championship table, can always bring plenty of aces to the game. The local press in and around Leeds, obviously favouring their home side, have been showing concerns that the club is more concerned with wider issues than Sunday's fixture. The locals have been listening to so much talk about the unfairness, as they see it, of Leeds fans having to get to the south coast by mid-morning on Sunday. It's been pointed out that Leeds have another long trip a week later for another early kick-off in London, with a game in between. There has also been much focus in the Yorkshire press on the stresses and strains of international duty on the Leeds squad, with local journalists looking ahead to what is perceived as a need to win just two more games to be certain of automatic promotion. There has also been some foreboding about Pompey's new reputation, hardly deserved, as being an overly forthright team, and that the players will have to be on their guard against any rough and tumble. With so much on the minds of Leeds United, Pompey fans can only hope that they might turn up burdened by the mindset of what one manager once called the philosophy of, quote, just turn up and run around and we'll see what happens, unquote.
I've never really been partial to the statistics that we're getting today about Leeds United. You know, Leeds United having won only 2 of their last dozen or so kick-offs that were staged before 1:30 p.m. It doesn't make the slightest difference. Statistics like that simply don't matter. They cannot matter. How can they matter? You know, you get a club side that consists of 11 players who weren't playing 3, 4 and 5 years ago. The last 6 times these teams met in the league, and the result was 5-1 in favour of one of the teams. It's got absolutely nothing to do with the game in hand. To think for one moment that a Leeds United player, or all of them, are going to step out onto the pitch thinking we're no good if we kick off before 1:30 p.m. It's absolutely ludicrous. It's the sort of statistic, really, which just passes for a comment in the pub and then you move on to the real stuff, which is how good are Leeds? How well will they do in the Premier League next year? Are they right to take us for granted? No, because anything can happen in football. But a team that is Premier League in all but name ought to be able to more than hold their own against a team that everybody else perceives as being a team who might be down in League One next season. I happen to think differently. I happen to think that we're going to stay up and comfortably. Some people, though, still like to trumpet doom and gloom. Good luck to them if it makes them happy. Try not to make other people unhappy. What is the point of doing that in life? But we should be thinking about things that really matter, such as, might John Messino start with 2 number 9s? Might he throw Yengi or Omani? Surely not Waddingham. Certainly not Christian Sadie. He plays so well as a heavy-duty number 10, doesn't he? A real weapon to bring on as a shock sub. But is he going to play Yengi alongside Colby Bishop? He's made good noises about the fact that they played together for 27 minutes, and he thought it looked like a good partnership. So that's what we should be focusing on, whether we are going to go for broke against Leeds United and beat them, or else go down by 2, 3 or more goals. Although, hang on a second, what's that other statistic? They've only scored more than once, 3 times in their last 12 games that kicked off before 1:30 p.m. I like that one. Yeah, I love that one. Start with Yengi? Yeah, why not? What have we got to lose? This is Pompey Sound.